Swear to God, you really move me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to the audience for being here, and thank you so much for the wonderful director, Béla Tarr, for being with us tonight. Before we ask, I just have it's a question I usually don't ask, but how many of you have seen Werckmeister Harmony on the big screen before? Okay. So this, for some of you, was the first time watching it on big screen. And it's quite a wonderful experience. I remember the first time I saw it, when it came out in 2001 in the US, and it changed my vision of cinema. And the way I appreciate
It's a big responsibility.
Yeah, very big. And because of you now, I have to do that job and make sure people watch good films. Otherwise, I would have let them watch, bad French comedies.
I remember the world premiere. It was in Cannes, at the Cannes, and before screening, we had an evening, and I was poisoned by oysters. And
you're not supposed to eat oyster in
May. Now I know forever, since this time. Swear to God, I don't remember for anything.
I'm going to have a few words with the people at Cannes about that, to know if it was planned or not. But do you ever rewatch your own film personally? Like, have you rewatched Werckmeister Harmony recently, or?
Yes, I did it because I decided a movie. I was really resistant to digitalize them because I think if we shot for 35 millimeter, I never touch it. But after 20 years, and now to see the situation when you don't have just very few theaters with the 35 millimeter prints, I had the feeling, why not? But it has to be minimum 20 years for 35 millimeters. And afterwards, let's try another way. And of course, I saw it take by take, because I was grading myself, because I don't trust any engineers, I don't trust any kind of professionals. And I really, because they don't, let's tell you an example. The Sátántangó was digitalized by Arbelos in Los Angeles. And they sent us the scan. You know what happened? They had a very professional computer technology, and they definitely cleaned the picture and cleaned the rain from the movie. And if some of you saw it, the Sátántangó, you could see it's about the rain. And I have seen it a totally different shit. That's why I decided I have to control and do myself. It means I had to see it. Take by take.
But you have not rewatched with an audience?
No. Because this is a procedure. And it's you cannot involve the people.
When, like, I did rewatch the film recently because we played it here, and political aspect of the film was very strong 20 years ago, but it's still just as strong today. And is it something that you're conscious of, the political aspect of the film, which also relates to the situation in Hungary at the time, which is very different from today, but could still apply to a different aspect of the regime in Hungary?
I have to tell you that time when we did this movie, we were sure this is only a fairy tale. And would be a nice fairy tale about maybe something about the fear. But if you look around now, the world, when you see the power of the populism, when you see the power of this fascism, and like in Hungary, and you feel it, but not only in Hungary. I think you feel it here too. Maybe not in New York, but if you go around in your country, or if you go to Italy, or doesn't matter where are you going. Or let's see now what is happening in Russia, and you know, that time it was just looks like a bad dream, and we were hoping never will happen. And now we see it's happening day by day, almost everywhere. And this is, but I don't think the main issue is the political aspect. The main issue is what is happening with you if you are, let's say, you belongs to the eternity because you are predestinated to understand more, or you are more sensible than your environment. When you know, we have three main characters in this movie. Walushka, who belongs to the cosmos, and Mr. Esther, who connected to the clean voices, and the whale, who came from the far ocean. All three them very close connection to the eternity. And somehow we were thinking about the whole, what it means to be human being, or what it means to a part of the universe. And that was somehow our key question. And of course, you have a lot of shit around you, which is by the end killing you, destroying your vision, destroying your presence or destroying your being.
I wanted to ask one other question about the film, which is involvement with the music, because the music is really part. It's another character of the film, really, and it also stays in you and the way you use it. So can you just talk a little bit about the involvement you had in working with Mihály Víg in the film? And like, you worked directly on creating the score with him.
About the music, you know, I'm working, and we are working together with Mihály since 1983, and he was at that time and still kind of underground rock and roll musician, and he is a poet, very good one, and is a good musician. And we became friends 1983, and since this time he was working with us, and I can tell you the music is really one of the main character, like our physically presence actors or locations, the whole landscape and everything. They are also incredibly important, and Mihály's music also very important, and I have to know his music before the shooting, because you have to know your main character before the shooting, and he goes to the studio before the shooting, and he's bringing first time just audio tape, and later CDs, and now USB, and we, just the tech is different, but the spirit is not. And you have to know, we never talk about the film. We all the time talk about the life, how it's going. And the main issue is when I'm working with somebody, how is our point of view? If we see a human situation, let's say on the street or somewhere, doesn't matter. When you see how the people are reacting, and if we understand on the same way, in this case, no reason to talk about the film. No reason. We don't have script. We don't have anything what we can talk. Maybe we can talk just the situations, what we will filming. And it was all the time with all my main collaborators and everybody who was a part of our crew. They have to think on the same way. Of course, not the technicians and not the lighters, because No, they are also understand, because I was working all the time with the same crew. But you know, I stopped the filmmaking 12 years ago. But this doesn't mean I'm lazy and I don't do anything. We had a big exhibition in Amsterdam, and we had a big show in Vienna, which it was called Missing People, with 250 homeless people, partly motion picture, partly live music, and partly installations. And this, it was also with Mihály. And it's, you know, we are like a family, and sometimes we bored each other, sometimes we hate each other, you know, like in a real family.
You mentioned that you're not lazy, but you quit making film for now. But when you were also teaching, did you bring Mihály on a teaching school?
No.
It was part of like we are not.
First of all, I'm not teaching, because
It's a wrong word.
yes, I try to liberate my young colleagues. This is what you have to understand. I hate and I want to close all art schools and all film schools immediately. Really. Because what is means school? You are there like students, and you pay a lot of tuition, and then a teacher is coming, and he will tell you what he thinks the best. I can believe they want to give you their best, but they don't count on your personality. They don't count on your vision. They don't count anything. They are just giving you a kind of lecture, and then afterwards you have to do a fucking exam. And then what you get, only one way, take it or leave it. You know, it's so stupid system. The whole system is stupid. Because all of you are different. And you need different treatment. You need to be yourself. And if the school goal is you take you equal and fit for a fucking system, in this case, you are totally lost. But if somebody who has a real big empathy and understand you are coming from Japan, you are Shinto, you are lesbian, and you have a different cultural background and different religion, different skin color, and respect this. In this case, you can get a chance to develop her or the other guy from a different corner of the world. This is why I hate, and if I said, I really want to close all art schools because we have to apply, and our power is in our differences.
I do remember something you told me 20 years ago. We were in a bar drinking.
Could happen.
And you said, where would you put the camera if you were filming here? And I've been thinking about this for 20 years. And I knew I couldn't make a film because I couldn't find the right camera angle and placement in that particular bar. So as a non-teacher, you raise questions that opened my mind, but there was no answers for me. So if you go and drink with Mr. Tarr, like you can just think about all type of questions that can come up during the drinking. We have time for some questions, and I believe we have some microphones around. So the light is very bright, so you need to, there's someone here, and there's a microphone coming to you.
What I was thinking as I was watching the film is that scene by scene, it feels so effortless. And I imagine that it's because it took a great deal of effort to make it feel that way. And so my question was, how do you cultivate in the process patience for your crew, for your actors, and for yourself?
Now I understand the question, but I don't understand the meaning of the question. Because, swear to God, what do you believe about the filmmaking? The filmmaking is a very pragmatic shit. You have to wake up at the morning, you have to go to the location. You know what the real process. You decided, okay, I do this movie. What is happening? You have to do the casting, and you will see after this movie, The Man from London, when we had Tilda Swinton and some Miroslav Krobot, some, let's say, professional people. But doesn't matter if somebody professional or not, somebody, what I need, their personalities. You know, when you have this idea for, let's say, I don't say story, I say the whole movie. You know, the situations, we never write script because it's no reason. It's just bothering me because it's heavy, a lot of paper, and you cannot do anything in the set with this amount of paper. Really, it's useless. But you know well, you believed some characters, but when you are front of the question of the casting, and the casting, you know what is the most important thing? To find somebody who has a strong personality, and he or she, or their personalities are very close to the character. And then the second step, you have to revise all your idea and changing to make it fit for their personalities. And then you have to revise the situations, what you want to shoot. Because the situations, they have to be there, they have to be in. It means serious thing, not to influencing and pushing them to play character, because I want to them, and I'm hunting their spontaneity. This is the main issue for the filming for me. Of course, I know somebody believes the acting is a profession, and I'm sure somebody believing the screenwriting is a profession, and somebody believing the box office is the box office, and this is their goal. But for me, it's all about the human life. And the life generally, it's not only the practical human beings. It's about the nature, it's about the nature elements. Now outside is raining. And you know, this kind of things are very important. We cannot say this is a job. You have to understand what are you doing, and you have to discover the whole world around you, transforming on you, and then try to sharing with you. But you have to be careful, sensible. You need all your empathy. You have to treat the people equal. This is the main issue.
I wish we could go on longer, but if we want to show the man from London in 5 minutes, we should probably wait for, well, you're going to introduce the next film, and you're back tomorrow also for both films. So we're going to wrap up for this one.
Today you will see another stuff, and tomorrow we can meet again. But if you have enough time, you can stay. Up to you. Outside is heavy rain. I recommend you to stay here.